Oops, shut myself off there. Hey, everybody, it's Friday once again here at the Man Cave, and it's time to do that Friday thing that we do. Jeff, glad you could be with us again this week. Let me get back over here where I can see the comments that are coming through. Russ is with us. Some Eagle Rare and the cicadas. You know, Russ, the cicada thing's not happening here in North Carolina. We that happens here, but this 17-year thing, I think that's only north of us. I think it happens up in Virginia and on up the eastern seaboard, but I don't think it's really happening here. We're not having that great influx of cicadas that everybody's having. Well, welcome back to the Man Cave. We're gonna have a drink just like we do. Wes, glad you could be with us. Uh, Tonight, first of all, this week was a good week in the whiskey and bourbon business for me. uh, this is my score from my local shop this week. I got this bottle of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So that's what I'm going to have tonight. I also picked up a bottle of Jack Daniel's number 27 Gold, and I've already had a glass of that, and I'm probably going to drink it next Friday night, maybe, and because I want to talk about it. I want to compare. I want to talk about the Gold versus the Sinatra Select versus the Single Barrel Select, and we'll talk about that. If any of you guys have had all three of those, come around next Friday night because I want to talk about those. I'm a fan of Elijah Craig's standard uh, small batch because it's a very good bourbon for the money. It's inexpensive. This one wasn't so inexpensive. I think, if I remember correctly, I paid $79 or so for this 750 mil barrel proof, but this barrel proof is 118.2 proof, 59.1% alcohol, so it's fairly stout. So if you're having a drink with me tonight, be sure and leave a note in the comments and let me know what you're having, and cheers. William, cold Bud Light on the beach with my boss. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Must be nice. Yeah, I promised my mom a bottle of bourbon to replace her Evan Williams or whatever it is she's cooking with. I'll bring that by tomorrow. Mike from Auckland. It's 11:30 in the morning down there. Yeah, good morning. Or it's lunchtime. This barrel proof is good. This this doesn't have quite the sting that my Jack Daniel's barrel proof has. It's a little lower proof. This is 118, and that Jack Daniel's is up around 130 something. But this is rich. This is good. I think I can get used to this. I've been kind of easing into barrel proof. Uh, the uh, the higher alcohol content is taking me a while to get used to. I can handle 100 proof. That doesn't seem to bother me at all. In fact, I seem to prefer stuff that's 95 to 100 proof. When we get up on into these barrel proofs, it's a little different. I'm still learning how to taste that, but this Elijah Craig is smooth. It's very good. And in fact, it doesn't really taste. It's not really hitting me like a barrel proof does. Paul's got a Chardonnay going on there. Let's see. I need to glance at something right quick here. Okay. Never mind. We're good. Got a good crowd here tonight. Got about 42 people between our Facebook stream and streaming live on YouTube as well. Ed, I saw your comment about the Knob Creek Double Oak. I haven't had that one yet. I've got the Knob Creek 12-year-old. I think I had that last week. Yeah, I had that. I haven't had the Double Oak. The Knob Creek, I'm kind of limited. I can get the standard 9-year-old. I can get the rye pretty regularly, but my last trip to the shop down the road here produced that 12-year-old single barrel, may have been. It was good. That's what I had last week, and I really liked it. So we'll be coming back to that. Let's see what Tanya's drinking. Tanya, what you got going on over there?
A cappuccino tonight.
Cappuccino. What kind of coffee did you use?
I actually used some from the local coffee shop, the Emerson's Snickerdoodle.
Oh, yeah?
Decaffeinated.
Okay. Yeah, we got to have decaf this time of the evening. Either that or we need to spike your coffee, and give it a little a little negative reinforcement there. How about that? Chris, glad you could join us. Guys, Chris here, he is actually one of the reasons I've decided to get into bourbon and tasting. Chris runs a Facebook group that I participate in. They talk a lot about food and a lot about bourbon. And Chris has actually given me some good pointers on things to try, because when I first met those guys in that group, I was drinking just beer. I would drink bourbon and scotch and whiskey every now and then, but I wasn't really in a tasting mode. I was just, drinking it for a relaxation thing. And I'm trying to learn to enjoy it at a different level now. And those guys in that group are pretty good. Let me see here. Just one moment. I am going to show you that group. I've got it in my bookmarks here. And there it is. I'm going to bring this up and share the screen with you. It's called Food and Booze Geeks. So, guys, this group's different from the groups that you'll normally find me hanging out in. These guys, there are a few grillers in here, but this group's not predominantly grillers. There's some, and there's a lot of great indoor cooks in here, and there's a lot of great information flowing in here about bourbon and whiskey and various other spirits. It's a very intriguing group, and if you're interested in some of that stuff, hit Chris up in this group and see what comes of that. I hope Chris doesn't mind me sharing that. I didn't ask him, but I hope he won't, because it's a really good group. I post some of my cooking stuff in there sometimes when I think it's appropriate to what's going on there. I don't post everything I do. Yeah, Chris bought a Traeger. I believe he bought a Traeger recently. Chris, didn't you buy a pellet grill? You bought a Traeger, I believe, and it's I don't know if I remember what, if anything, you had before that. But Chris has been remodeling his kitchen, or he recently did an overhaul on his kitchen, and he's got this gas range in there that I couldn't get anywhere near this thing because I would just drool all over it. It's like a Viking or one of these really amazing. Chris, I don't mean to embarrass you there. You got a Weber Smoky Mountain? Okay, that's great. I started out on a Weber Smoky Mountain, but I started out on the 18-inch, and I actually wish I still had that. There it is, the 60-inch Wolf. And guys, you want to talk about having oven and stove envy, you go look that thing up and see if your heart rate doesn't increase just a little bit, because, yeah, it's going to. The thing is badass. And Mom, I apologize ahead of time, but it just got to be said. All right, Tanya, we'll bring you back up here shortly. I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that went on here this week. I didn't have a very heavy week in cooking, but I did some fun things. So we're going to talk about hamburgers this week and talk about upping your hamburger game. And I know what you're getting ready to say. Nobody wants to make their own hamburger buns, but I've gotten some of you guys to make your own pizza dough. So this is also worth a try. I made my hamburger bun recipe this week, and I posted this I haven't done a video on this, but I posted the recipe with these same photos you're getting ready to see on Atlanta Grill Company's Facebook page yesterday. So this is a very basic dough. It's got flour, salt, sugar, yeast, some beaten egg, and some butter and water. And we just put that in the mixer, let the mixer do its thing, and make our little tight dough ball, put it in a greased bowl, cover it with plastic, and I proofed this for about an hour in my proofing oven here at about 80 to 85 degrees, and then come up with this beautiful dough ball. This looks amazing right here. This is one of the things where when you get into baking bread, you're going to be successful just by how the dough looks and how it feels. So once I got that dough through the bulk rise here, I divided it up into 8 relatively equal pieces. And I'm kind of picky about this part. I actually weighed that dough ball when I took it out of the bowl from the first rise. I punched it down and rolled it up, and I put it on my scale to see how much it weighed, so I could figure out how close I needed to be to get these into 8 equal dough balls. So I portioned it out, and I had to divide them up a little bit more and kind of roll the dough back up. But I got 8 equal pieces out of this, and I put them on my greased pan, and I just tossed a towel over them, and we let those bench proof here for about 45 minutes, so you can see how much they've risen up here. And my shaping was not perfect on these. I did not spend the extra couple of minutes I should have shaping that dough to make these buns look perfect. But when they get to this point, I make a simple egg wash with a beaten egg and a little bit of milk, and I just use a whisk to work that until it's really nice and smooth. And I typically use 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of milk, but on this I use a little more than a tablespoon of milk because I want that egg wash to be fairly thin, where I can easily brush it on top of these buns. And once I've brushed that egg wash on there, instead of just using sesame seeds, I decided to use this Trader Joe's everything bagel seasoning, just because we love that stuff. Tanya and I love it, and I use it quite frequently. I used it on that sandwich loaf that I showed you guys the other week. And then you throw these in the oven at about 400 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes and just let them brown up till they look like this, and you're done. You take them out and you let them cool, and that's what we ended up with on our hamburger buns. You can buy a really good everything bagel for the win. That's absolutely, Tanya and I love it, and I've sampled a whole bunch of different ones, and my favorite one is the Trader Joe's. And I think the thing that draws me toward the Trader Joe's is the garlic in the Trader Joe's version's a little bit elevated, and I just like that because I like the flavor and I love the aroma of that in the oven. Now that garlic, they've got minced garlic in there that's it's not like a garlic powder or a garlic, not the powder, but the I don't know what you call it, the granulated garlic. It's larger than that. It's larger pieces that are dried. And you got to be kind of careful with those and whatever temperatures you're working at, because you don't want to char those, because they do get a little bit bitter. But anyway, this is perfect. These buns come out amazing. But you don't have to make your own hamburger buns, but I love baking. And if I wasn't doing so much with the grill, I think I found my second love for cooking is baking bread. And I've come a long way with it in the last couple of years. The stuff I make, I think, is pretty good. And Tanya and I were talking about, I need to try hot dog buns and see. I could use this exact same recipe to make hot dog buns if I can figure out how to shape those. I might have to do some digging on the internet, but I think I'm going to make. Tanya said she wanted some poppy seed hot dog buns, so we don't seem to be able to find those around here. So I'm going to make poppy seed buns. And Scott, no, I don't do the egg wash after the seasoning. I just use the egg wash the egg wash helps with the browning, obviously, but it also helps hold that seasoning on there. I don't know if I could put it on after. I would probably have a hard time keeping it on there if I tried to brush more of that on. Freddie's with us. Yeah, I had forgot about you. You're coming on with me sometime this summer, right? We're going to have that big pizza night. I need to talk to Stone because I'd like to really get both of y'all on here. And whenever lacrosse season's over. Yeah, Beth, of Chicago-style buns. I'm not a fan of the Chicago-style hot dogs. I don't like avocado. And Tanya'd probably go for that. But, yeah, I don't mind the poppy seed buns. But I'll make some. I got to learn how to do it. We're going to learn how to shape these. But anyway, you don't have to make your own hamburger buns, but I encourage you to try it. It's an awful lot of work to get 8 hamburger buns when you could go to the grocery store and spend somewhere between $2 and $4 and come home with an 8-pack of some pretty decent hamburger buns. I can buy decent quality hamburger buns at the grocery store. I can, and I know that, but I like to make them. So I encourage you to try it at least once. And if you don't like it, don't ever do it again. Just buy. I can't remember the brand name of the stuff I like to buy at the grocery store. I don't typically buy the ballpark ones. Arnold comes to mind as a brand of buns that I buy when I buy the sesame seed buns. Yeah, Jeff, exactly. We like to cook, and when we like to cook, we like to do it ourselves. And Jeff and I made a lot of bread during the COVID quarantine. We did a bunch of this. Yeah, Mike, thanks. I appreciate it. The bagels, I love the bagels. You made the bagels, didn't you? I think you're one of the ones that made that recipe, or we're going to. But so, yeah, there's the pizza. I'm glad people are trying that because it's really not hard to do. But anyway, I made a comment earlier in the week that a perfect hamburger has to start with a perfect bun. Mark from Sydney, I'm glad you could join us. I don't know I know we got Auckland here and we got Sydney. I don't think my Melbourne guy's in here tonight. Maybe Jason will pop in soon. I haven't seen him come in yet. Maybe he's busy. But yeah, this is the right time of day. The Europeans it's late at night for them. It's kind of early to midday for you guys. So I appreciate you jumping in here with me. So, but hamburgers, everybody loves a good hamburger. I don't know too many people that don't like hamburgers. And my wife likes hamburgers. And my wife and I are quite often on the same page about our taste in hamburgers. So what I did for my video this week that's up now. It's up on Atlanta Grill Company's Facebook and YouTube channel. I did smash burgers, so that picture's not supposed to be first, but it did come up first. I set up my grill and I started out with my Finex pan. I bought some center cut bacon and I cut the slices in half. I did 3 slices and cut them in half. And I just cooked these guys in the pan on the grill while I was warming the grill up, because it takes the soapstone where we're going to do these smash burgers a good bit to preheat. You've got to give that guy adequate time to get hot. So while that was going on, I cooked some bacon. And I decided to cook the bacon in the pan rather than on the soapstone, because I wanted to save the drippings. And I'm going to show you what we did with that here in a minute. So anyway, here's the picture that was supposed to come up first. This is how I set my grill up to do smash burgers. In this photo, I'm using the Classic 3, and I set the soapstone on a grill grate in the lowest position. I think it's important to set your soapstone on the grill grate to give it the support you need, especially if you're going to press down on it like we're going to do when we make these smash burgers. But the charcoal basket's probably half full, and I've got it on both sides, not just on one side, because, like I said, I was going to use that pan. The grill grate on the right side here is in the middle position. It's not all the way up. So I lit the charcoal, and I didn't show it here, but I used my fireboard. You can actually see over here, I've got my battery, but the fireboard's a little out of the picture. I use the fan and the temperature controller to run the grill. And what I do when I want to cook like this is I set my dome temperature for somewhere around 375 or 400 degrees. Usually 375 will get me where I want to be in this case. If I'm at 375 up in the dome, after I've been running at 375 for 30 or 40 minutes, my soapstone down there that's directly over the coals is going to be somewhere between 500 and 550 degrees, which is exactly where I want it to be for about any kind of searing that I'm going to do. If I'm going to sear smash burgers like we did here, that's where I want it. If I'm going to sear steak, if I'm going to sear chops, if I was going to sear scallops, if I was going to sear absolutely anything, possibly with the exception of fish, that's how I'm going to set my grill up. That way I can still have the simplicity of running a controller to run the show and not have to worry about tweaking vents and spending my time getting the grill to temperature. I can let the controller do all the work for me. So yeah, I'm lazy like that, but I love my fireboard. So to make a smash burger, I wanted 1/3 pound burgers. So I have weighed out 1/3 of a pound of 80/20 ground chuck. And you don't have to worry too much. There's a bunch of people that'll tell you got to have it really loose, but you don't. I kind of tore the meat apart, and I weighed out 1/3 of a pound, and I kind of balled it up into a little ball like you see here. It's not even very even. But what you do with that, oh, I forgot to show the other thing here. On this soapstone, before I did that, I poured some of that bacon grease that I had reserved in that Finex pan onto this soapstone, and I used my spatula to kind of spread it out, because I would normally use ghee, but I wanted to use bacon grease today. So since I was going to have bacon on these burgers, I said, well, we'll just use the bacon grease. So I put bacon grease down, and then all you have to do is you set that ball just like you see there, right down on the soapstone. And then you take a square piece of parchment paper, set it on top of that ball, and use whatever you're going to use to smash your burger down, to press that burger down in place. And you hold it there for about 10 seconds. And I've got a smash burger press here that I like to use, but you can use a wide spatula. You can use a small cast iron pan. You can use a dinner plate. You just need something that's round and firm that you can use to press that burger down and make it thin. And you hold it there for about 10 seconds, and then you just lift that off, and then you pull the parchment paper off, and then you're not going to touch that burger again for a while. I was doing 2 of these guys last night, so I hadn't seasoned the meat yet until now. What I do is, once I get that burger down and get it smashed, I season both of these with the Atlanta Grill Company the Man Cave Meals AP Mojo, which is one of my own recipes. And the hard part here is you've got to just let this cook. You need to leave these here just like that until you see bubbles start coming up through the meat. And actually, you're going to see when I show you what these look like after I flip them. I didn't leave them quite as long as I should have in this case, but I still got a good crust. This is what you're looking for on a smash burger, is a beautiful dark crust just like that. And I probably needed to leave that for another 2 minutes or so before I flipped those, but these were still good. And as soon as you flip them, what I like to do is put cheese on them. So I think my next pictures, that's where we're going to be. Yeah, I didn't make pictures during this process like I normally would because I was making videos. So everything you're seeing here is something I've gone back and done a screen grab out of my video to show you what I was doing. But I got some extra thin sliced sharp cheddar, and just after I flipped those burgers, I put that slice of cheddar on there and I closed the lid, and I left it on. I left it for another minute, about just enough to fully melt that cheese over the top of that patty. And then I moved the hamburgers over to the other side of the grill out near the edge where they'd be off the direct heat. And I took my hamburger buns that I had sliced open, and I also took those hamburger buns and dipped them down into some of that bacon grease. And I put the hamburger buns on the soapstone, got some toast on those buns, and then put these together. And another thing you can't see here that you can see in the video is that chuck steak that I did last week, that Man Cave A57 sauce that I made to go with that chuck steak. I put a little bit of that sauce on the bottom bun before I put the burger patty down and before I put the bacon on. And that's exactly what you see here, is exactly how I served these burgers. So let's get a second opinion on the burgers from Tanya.
I loved them. I ate every bite. I made a happy plate.
Well, see, Jeff says, this may be a dumb question. I love a good smash burger, but I've been using my Blackstone. Where does all the grease go when using a soapstone or half moon? Well, there's not that much, Jeff. Just with two burgers, there's not that much. And what it does is it'll just run off the edge. It'll run off the edge of the soapstone and run down into the fire. And I have not done burgers to where I've had enough of it to where it's created any kind of problem. So, yeah, it's okay. There's the question. Why didn't I cook the bacon on the stone? The reason I didn't cook the bacon on the stone was what I was talking about earlier. I could have, but I wanted to save that bacon grease so I could have it on the stone right when I was ready to put the burgers down. And I also wanted to dip my buns in it before I toasted the buns. I wanted to have a little reserve of that. And if I had just tried to use the bacon grease on the stone, I wouldn't have had enough of it left behind to make any contribution to the burger or to the buns. So that's why I did that. And my burger, when we make burgers, Tanya and I tend to go more simple with them. I don't load mine up with lettuce and tomato. I don't have anything against that, but Tanya and I, there's one thing that we do agree on with burgers. We don't like our burgers so thick that you can't get your mouth around it. We like our burgers a little bit more reserved. Yeah. So, but yeah, that Man Cave, my Man Cave A57 sauce is named such because it's kind of along the same lines as it's not quite, it doesn't have the punch that the A1 has, and it doesn't have quite the sweetness that Heinz 57 has. It's kind of in between the two. It's a 5-ingredient sauce, and it's awesome. I love it. And
it is really good. I like it as well.
But it's really good. But that's the smash burger. And one of the things I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about is other things that you can do to elevate your burger game. So, yes, Paul. And I was going to do that last night. In fact, in the video, I even said that I was going to slice an onion and do it. And here's the Vidalia onion that I had sitting here for this project. And I decided at the last minute not to do the onion. I don't really know why, but what I like to do, I don't mind a grill and a slice of onion, but my favorite way to do onions on a burger is to fully caramelize them, and that takes time. Uh, my rubs and seasonings, the Man Cave Meal stuff is all available through Atlanta Grill Company exclusively. It's part of the Atlanta Grill Company rub line. If you'll go to their website, you'll find the Man Cave Meal stuff. There's 3 of them. There's the all-purpose, the AP Mojo, which is a amped up salt, pepper, garlic. And then there's the Pork Mojo, which is a variation of the AP Mojo. It's got paprika and brown sugar and some other goodies added to it. And then there's the Beef Mojo that is yet another variation of the AP Mojo that's got coffee. It's a coffee-based. It's got a good bit of, I won't say a good bit. It's got enough coffee in it that you know it's there, and some additional cayenne pepper as well. So, but those are all available directly through Atlanta Grill Company. But burgers, let's see. The most common way people cook burgers is just grilling them over direct flame. And for me, that's one of my least favorite ways to do it. It's not that I don't like it. I just like the results better with several other techniques. Yeah, Ned, the Pork Mojo and the Beef Mojo all start out with a base of the AP Mojo, and then it's got other ingredients added to it. And the Beef Mojo has ground coffee in it. It's a really good. I made the Beef Mojo specifically for brisket and beef ribs, and it's good on both. Yeah, Andy, I appreciate that. Those rubs are good, and I feel fortunate that those guys, and my sister's here. Hey, Margaret, I feel fortunate that the guys at Atlanta Grill Company were willing to take those on and make it part of their line. So, yeah, they're good. But who else? Which one of you? Somebody tell me what's your favorite way to cook a burger? What do you consider besides a smash burger?
Coffee, Scott. Coffee.
Hey, Scott, she made a cappuccino in the Jura. Yeah, she did. A big one. Okay, Eric, we're going to star that note because that's where I'm headed. That's where I'm going. He likes to slow cook burgers with smoke, and that's my next favorite way to make a burger is to smoke it. There's no searing involved, and it's not even a reverse sear. It's just a straight smoke. Who else has got something? Who's got a way they like to do burgers? Margaret likes bison burgers. Have we done burgers with ground bison?
Oh yeah, I love bison.
I mean, have we done it here? Did we do it? Have we done them?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought we probably had because I know you bought it before.
I love ground bison. It's so
talking about a Juicy Lucy. I need to do that. I'll make my July 4th video a Juicy Lucy. I think that'd be a good one. I'll need to look into that. High position, 6 minutes aside. Yep. And Stephen, glad you could be with us tonight too. I got some stuff I'm getting ready to send your way. Smoked or smash. Okay. Yeah. A stuffed burger. Yeah, stuffed burgers are good, and I've done some stuff like that. In fact, somewhere around here, I've got a burger press that helps make a stuffed burger, stuff them with bacon. Okay, that's another thing I wanted to talk specifically about is using bacon. Uh, I've mentioned it here before. When I went out to Southern California a few years back to go to Harry Sue's barbecue school, uh, if any of you guys are avid watchers on YouTube, there's a guy out in San Diego named Greg Mervich that has a rather large channel called Ballistic Barbecue. And Greg, I got the opportunity to meet Greg when I was out there for that trip. And Greg took me to this place called Slater's 50/50 Burgers out in San Diego. And we went with several other YouTubers and met up and went out there. And their burgers are half ground chuck, half ground bacon. That's why they're called 50/50 burgers. They're 50% bacon, 50% ground. Well, I'm not going to say they're 50% ground chuck. They're 50% ground beef. I'm figuring they might be using a leaner ground beef since they're using 50% bacon. But I was so impressed with that flavor that I came home and I made my own 50/50 burger video and tried to somewhat recreate the Hawaiian burger that I had when I was there. Okay, let me tell you about this burger. It's a rather large burger to start with. I can't remember if it was a half pound. I think it was probably a half pound burger. Okay, the Hawaiian burger at Slater's 50/50 had that big bacon and beef patty. It had a slice of Spam, fried Spam on it, and it had some pineapple, and it had a fried egg on it. And it was off the hook. It was crazy good. Ned said he's been to Slater's, so he knows what I'm talking about. Ned, have you been to the one? Are you in San Diego, Ned? Yeah, Steven, I think you're right. I think they do. I think I've seen it on their menu. Thanks, Alan. I'm glad you like those. But that video is on the Kamado Joe channel. If you'll search the Kamado Joe channel for hamburgers, you'll ultimately find that video. And yeah, it was good. Chris, I don't, because I have given up cooking over direct flame. And when you take that beef and cook it on a flat surface or slow smoke it, it won't puff up like that. But that's what you have to do to get that to work. You dimple the middle, and it won't puff up so bad. I don't like golf ball burgers, and they do puff up pretty bad when you put them over direct heat. You have to temper the heat back a little bit, and cooking them for a little bit longer over a little bit lower temperature also helps with that. So Ned's in Austin, but he's been to San Diego. I think there may be more than one Slater's, and if there is, I don't know where the other ones are, but I know the one that I went to in San Diego, I think, is the original one. Yeah, the charcoal, it is hard to beat that, Chris. And if you get the opportunity, try this next technique I'm getting ready to talk about. And if she likes that, I think she'll probably love this. But let's move on to that. I'm going to talk about the smoked burger. Tanya, I'm going to back you back out for a moment here. I'll bring you back here at the end. But the smoked burger, when I want to do a bigger burger, like a half-pound burger, smoking it. And when I say smoking it, I'm saying that I'm cooking it at a lower temperature. I don't throw a whole lot of smoke at it because just like anything else, it is possible to put too much smoke on a hamburger. Ground beef absorbs smoke almost as badly as chicken does. So you got to kind of go easy with your smoke and not overdo it. But I like to make a half a pound patty, but the trick to making something awesome when you want to smoke your burger is I'm just going to say you're going to set your grill or your smoker up at about 250. 250 is a good temperature. And like I said, you're going to make half-pound patties, so they're going to be kind of thick. And what has to happen to make something awesome here is twofold. First of all, you're going to want a good bun, and you're going to want to toast your bun. So you may want to, if you're going to be working with a smoker, you may want to toast your bun in the oven or something, or have another grill going. But seasoning the meat adequately and properly for a smoked burger is the trick. And one of the tricks that I've learned through my experience with doing this, I learned from Myron Mixon. I don't remember exactly where I learned this. I don't know if it was directly from him or if it was in one of his books, but there is he made a burger somewhere down the line, or he may still make them, and he puts ranch dressing mix in the ground beef. And when I heard about that, I got to thinking. I said that's probably going to be pretty good. So I decided to give that a try, and I used the fattiest ground beef I could find for this burger because slow smoking it, you're going to want to use at least an 80/20. And if you can find that 73/27 or whatever, get that instead. And, you're going to want to take it and pull it apart, get it as loose as you can in a bowl, broken up, and sprinkle some ranch dressing mix in it. Or if you don't want to use ranch dressing, use your favorite barbecue rub. Just put some of that in it. But I also put just a little bit, maybe for a pound of ground beef, I might put a quarter of a cup of breadcrumbs in there. And one of the reasons you put breadcrumbs in there is breadcrumbs will actually help the meat hold on to the fat and hold on to the moisture rather than letting it all smoke out or all drip out during the smoke. These smoked burgers retain their moisture better than you would imagine because they're not contracting real hard when you're exposing them to high heat and exposing them to uh, a lot of high temperatures. Like Chris was asking earlier about, how to keep those burgers flat. That is a perfect example of what happens to beef when you expose it to high heat. Those muscle fibers, those long muscle fibers contract when they get hot. And they just, it naturally wants to ball up. And you can see that happen in a lot of different things. Yes, Andy, French onion soup would be another good one. There's anything that you think tastes good, throw it in there. You could do French onion, you could do ranch dressing mix, you could do, you could make your own seasoning. One of the things that also I like in hamburgers, and Tanya doesn't like mushrooms like I do, but if you can get some dried mushrooms and powder those up in a mortar and pestle for about a pound of ground beef, put something like maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons or maybe 2 tablespoons of dried powdered mushrooms in that, and put some just powdered mushrooms, Worcestershire sauce, and maybe a little more salt, depending on how salty your Worcestershire sauce is. Uh, that becomes an umami bomb when you do that, because the umami that you bring with mushrooms and that you bring with the Worcestershire sauce is over the top. And uh, if Chris is still with us, I think Chris is running around with a pocket full of morals somewhere. That would be good too. You just do. Uh, I don't know how to tell you where to start with building what you want to flavor your meat with, but one key ingredient here is salt. You're going to want to get enough salt. And if you're going to smoke a burger, one of the things, you guys know how I like to pre-season my meat. If I'm going to cook a butt, or if I'm going to cook a brisket or a chuck or anything that's big like a prime rib or even a tri-tip, I like to season my meat 12 to 24 hours in advance. If you're going to smoke the burgers, do the same thing. Get that meat seasoned if you can, and uh, put it pack it into a Ziploc bag or vacuum seal it, put it back in the refrigerator and let it go. And for a pound of meat, I'm going to want to say for a pound, you're going to want a minimum of a teaspoon of salt in that, and maybe a teaspoon and a half for a pound. Uh, that's a pretty good place to start. Red Boot. Chris says Red Boot. Red Boot. It's Red Boat umami salt. I haven't tried that, but I keep the Red Boat fish sauce on hand, and fish sauce is something else you could do with this. If you have to be very careful with fish sauce if you're going to put it in a hamburger, but fish sauce is an ingredient I use here in a lot of things. If I can get away with using fish sauce instead of salt, I do that because it makes a huge improvement in the overall flavor of whatever I'm cooking. Fish sauce is an amazing ingredient. It works. It brings the umami the same way that anchovies do. In fact, fish sauce is probably made from anchovies. I've never looked to see how that's made, but it's yeah, you're right. That salt, that would be a good salt to use if you got it's called Red Boat. Red Boat. I've not seen that Red Boat umami salt. Is that what it's called? I've not seen that around here. I can get the Red Boat fish sauce at one of my local Asian markets, but I don't think I've seen that salt in the Asian market. So yeah, it's made from anchovies, but I try to keep anchovies on hand also because I'll throw an anchovy, just like one anchovy, if I'm making tomato sauce, or if I'm making a spaghetti sauce, or if I'm making barbecue sauce. Even I'll throw an anchovy in there. You never know it's in there, but you can taste the difference. You can taste, the one with it and the one without it. You can tell the difference. It's Mojo fish sauce. I don't know what that is, Tom. Yeah, Chris, send me a link to that, and I'll order some. And guys, for those of you that have heard me talk about the truff hot sauce, I think Chris may be the one that turned me on to that too. That hot sauce that's got the black truffle and the white truffle. Max, glad you could be with us tonight also. But smoking that burger, put that thing on the grill, I would put it on something, either a cedar plank or a soapstone or a cast iron pan. Put it on something where when the fat does render out of it, that it's not dripping through. Let the meat sit in that. Let it cook in that. And that half-pound burger, I recommend taking burger. I take my burgers to well done. If you want a medium rare burger, you don't want to smoke it. You want to go ahead and cook it the traditional method because it's not gonna stay together as well if you do it. I cook my burgers well done. Tanya won't eat them any other way, and I don't mind eating burgers well done. But that smoke, when you get that burger off that smoker, it's going to have the outside of it. It's going to have this burgundy color to it. You're going to be able to see. It's like a smoke ring, and if you slice that thing down the middle, you'll see the smoke that it's taken on, and it does a beautiful job. And put that on your toasted bun. Put that on with lettuce, tomato. If you want to throw some cheese on it, do whatever you want to do, and make that smoked burger your next target. I'll probably do a smoked burger video this summer because I haven't done that for Atlanta Grill Company yet. The smash burger, I think, is the first burger video we've done. But yeah, Steven's right. We're going to get a Juicy Lucy on the board, and we'll do a smoked burger as well. So, what wood do you use on the smoked burger, Nancy? That would be cook's choice. Go easy with the smoke. Around here, I've got I don't really have much of an inventory of smoking wood chunks at the moment. In fact, all I have is some apple and some peach. So I would recommend just like a single small chunk of oak or hickory or just a single small chunk of anything you've got. If you like the aroma of it, use it. You know, hickory, mesquite, just whatever. Just don't use too much of it. Go easy on it, because like I tell people, nobody's ever going to complain that what you did was undersmoked, but something that's oversmoked might not make them want to come back. Too much smoke makes bitterness, and ground beef absorbs smoke easily. It's not like brisket, or it's not like a butt. It's more like chicken at the rate that ground beef will absorb smoke. So you got to be easy with it. Sauces are another thing that I think can take a burger over the top. My A57 sauce that we talked about, I think is a beautiful burger sauce, but there are other sauces that are amazing on burgers, and there are some simple ones. I need to get Chef Eric's comeback sauce recipe and share it with you guys, but it's a mayo-based sauce. And hey, Tom, I paired Doritos with my burgers. Burritos are Funyuns. So, yeah, that's exactly how sophisticated we are here at the Man Cave. But no, you could do potato wedges. You could do fries. You could do, you know, whatever. I don't know what you'd pair. Burger, when it comes to burgers, pairings is not something I think about. A beer and some potato chips are going to get the job done. But sauces make or break burgers too. You can one of the things a lot of sauces that end up on burgers start out as Thousand Island dressing, and there's a lot of things you can do with that Thousand Island dressing. And one of the things that makes a good burger sauce is to take some Thousand Island dressing and thin it out with a little bit of mayo, back it up a little bit, and then add a little bit of hot sauce to it. So, you know, this is one of those things I don't really have a recipe for, but this is something you would want to try. What I would do is start out with plain Thousand Island dressing, add a little bit of mayo to it and stir it in, and watch that flavor as you go. Taste it as you go. Always taste as you go when you're making up something like this. You don't want it to taste like Thousand Island dressing. You want to ease it up just a little bit, and then when you can feel that flavor coming back of the Thousand Island dressing, start putting in a couple of dashes of something like sriracha that Stephen mentioned here. The sriracha ketchup made a great tasting burger. Stephen, did you make the sriracha ketchup, or did you get one of the ones that's pre-made? Yeah, I've had. I think I can't remember which one whether it was Heinz. One of them made a couple of ketchup varieties that were really good a while back. I think it was Heinz. They had a balsamic ketchup that was off the hook. They had a jalapeno ketchup that was really good. But sriracha is a great hot sauce, and it's good with anything. You can do a sriracha mayo. If you like to put mayo on your burger, don't settle for just plain mayonnaise. Put something in that. Make a garlic aioli. You know, put some garlic, granulated garlic in that, or some roasted garlic. Even better yet, roast a bulb of garlic. Mash up that whole bulb of garlic and put it in a half a cup or 3/4 of a cup of mayo, and use that on your burger. Or make a sriracha mayo. It's endless as to what you can do. Stuff with curd cheese. Oh man, cheese curds are something that are hard for me to find around here. Tanya and I, one of the things that's on our to-do list this summer while she's off work is to go to Ashe County Cheese up in northwestern North Carolina, up in the mountains, and they've always got cheese curds. And maybe we'll do poutine. Maybe we'll do a poutine video. That'll be an easy one. And man, poutine. I'm not Canadian. I don't even get near Canada very often. But man, if they do anything right up there, it's poutine, which is like a French fries or string potatoes with a brown gravy and cheese curds, and it's really, really, really off the hook. Okay, Steven said yes, the one with the rooster on it. So it's a sriracha ketchup. So sriracha and sour cream. Yeah, anything. Just don't settle for just the plain. You can use sour cream and mayo or mayo. Uh, a lot of times, if I want to make some sort of flavored aioli, I'll start out with a 50-50 mix of Duke's mayonnaise and sour cream and start building in my flavor from there. Angus. Yeah, Janice, Angus is good stuff. Angus uh, is something that's also a little bit difficult to understand. Angus is two different things. It's a type of cattle, and it's also a brand name. But uh, I think it's good. My Sam's Club sells certified Angus beef, and most of I've never. I'm not going to say never. I've bought thousands of dollars worth of meat from Sam's Club, and I have so rarely been disappointed that I think it's one of my favorite places. If I'm not able to get the meat from somewhere like Porter Road, when I have to get the meat locally, Sam's Club's where I go, and their beef is Angus beef at my Sam's Club. Now, all Sam's Clubs, they're going to vary from city to city, state to state, where their meats come from. But yeah, Angus red boatfish sauce. Yeah, I'll check that out, Chris, and I'll get some on order. I know I can't find it locally, but I'll probably have to pay the Amazon price for it. I'll get some of that because that'd be good to have. I agree. Salts are fun to taste. If you take a bunch of different salts that you have, go get 4 or 5 different kinds of salts and take a tongue taste of each one of them. And there's differences in them, and I'm sure this one is going to be quite interesting. I keep Lowry's seasoned salt here. I keep Diamond Crystal kosher salt's my go-to most of the time. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm having trouble finding that. I don't know why, but I have a hard time finding Diamond Crystal locally. I can get Morton's anytime I want it, but I really like the Diamond Crystal kosher salt. But I'll get some of that red boat. I'll get it on the way. So I'm running on time tonight. I'm about done. Come to Quebec. We'll get back to Canada. My wife and I went to Niagara Falls several years back. So that's been my only excursion into Canada. And Quebec. We'll have to do that. All right. Well, yeah. Partnered with Red Gold, Steven says. Okay, yeah, we'll get that on there. And everybody, don't forget to be sending Stephen Hickey your wish request for him to come on live with me. We're going to have a party when I can get Stephen on here with me. We're going to go through Stephen's cooking repertoire and let you guys see how weak I really am. We're going to collect all his pictures and talk about it. So, all right, it's 8:30. We've been going for an hour, and we've talked about burgers. If you have any questions that I haven't covered, I'm sure I probably haven't seen everything. Leave them in the comments here, and I will go back through all the comments and I will answer your questions. And we'll go from there. Maybe I'll talk Chris into coming on here with me one night and talking about bourbon and whiskey. I've been talking about. We've got a local distillery here that's just a couple miles down the road, and I was thinking about going down and visiting those people and see if I could get somebody to come on here with me and talk about how bourbon and whiskey is made. I doubt very seriously I could get anybody from somewhere like Jack Daniels or anywhere else to come on, but the local guy might come on, and we could get Chris on here. I'd love to have Chris on just to talk about bourbon, because I am no expert on bourbon, and Chris is a big fan of Four Roses, and I always pay attention to everything he says when he's talking about his tasting notes and whatnot on these things. I'm trying to learn these different things, and maybe we can get Chris to come on and talk about. I'd like to do a Friday night on alcohol. Talk about bourbon. Talk about. Let's see if I can get this right. Talk about Tennessee whiskey. I'll never forget that guy. I want to go back to Jack Daniels. Our tour guide, every time he would say Tennessee whiskey, he would take his hat off and cover his heart and say Tennessee whiskey. He was one of these guys that's really, really into it. He was one of the most knowledgeable people I've ever heard talking about. You remember Ron, don't you, Tanya?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to go back. Ron wore a
go,
pair of Liberty overalls that had all kinds of Jack Daniel patches on it that he sewed on it his very own self.
Yeah, but I'm waiting on Buffalo Trace's hard hat tour to open back up. They're still not doing this because of COVID, but whenever that opens back up, I think Tanya and I may take a couple days, and I want to run up to Buffalo Trace and do that tour, and I want to go back down to Jack Daniels and do the tour and see the things I didn't get to see when we were down there, and we'll just go from there. But yeah, Chris is somebody. Yeah, Chris can talk bourbon. Chris is the one that told me. I think I actually told Chris that I was going to Jack Daniels, and I said, "What should I look for?" And Chris is the one that told me I might want to have a look at that Sinatra Select, and as it were, I could not buy Sinatra Select on site at Jack Daniels that day. They didn't have any. But the next time I came across it, I found it. And I have come to some conclusions about it. First of all, I'm not going to talk bad about Sinatra Select. That is a beautifully smooth and delicious whiskey. It sure is. I don't know what to tell you on recommendations. I would say hit every one that you can get your hands on and figure it out. But the Jack Daniel's stuff I have in my possession the three top shelves from Jack Daniel's, not counting their rye. I keep the Single Barrel Select on hand because that is my favorite. And now I've got the Sinatra Select and the number 27 Gold. And that number 27 Gold, that might very well be one of the smoothest whiskeys I've had in my life. It really is smooth. It's a smooth drinker. It doesn't have the flavor complexity that the Single Barrel Select has. But we'll talk about that. I'll have number 27 next week and show you that. So, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me. Leave me comments. Give me the thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you got to click that button too. So, guys, have a good weekend, and I hope to see you again next week.